Burial's Untrue album is claimed as one of the best albums of all time. Apple Music has listed it in their top 100 albums. The most well-known one off that album, Archangel. And my personal favorite, Near Dark. So anyways, I'm going to be diving into that sound for today's video. I cannot wait to get started. And this is what I'm going to show you how to make in this video. So if you know Burial style, you know there's a whole bunch of foley, there's a whole bunch of creative sampling. So right before I recorded this video, I went down to the kitchen and recorded some stuff like that, you know? And so here we are, I've dragged those voice notes into Ableton. First of all, a tempo, 130. That's what I'm gonna roll with. We're gonna use a bunch of those sounds. I wanna get like an atmospheric bed to begin with, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Jug boiling, we could easily just loop this. I mean, that's just great ambience right off the rip. So I'm gonna EQ this a little bit, make sure it's just those mids coming through. That kind of dark sound, drench it in reverb. The gas element was another cool one that I discovered. This is gonna be some, I reckon, background crackle. Or even a kick. But it's got the clicks in the background. Anyways, I'm gonna loop that. Similar-ish treatment, reverb, and a bit of EQ on the gas, combined with the jug boiling. Easy atmosphere. Six sounds good. Might pitch that down. And one of the important things about that Burial sound is adding that little shuffle in there, so. Nice, okay, that's our bare basic. A cool thing I like to do is add in an auto filter. We want it muted and we want a little bit of reverb too. Alright, a little bit more of a skip to that. Boom, boom, ka. Turn this one down. Where's the salt shaker? Here we go. This should be good. That almost sounds like I didn't even need to quantize it. Even though it's not meant to be exactly on the grid, I want to have those offbeats kind of perfectly in sync. And then kind of have the other parts of that groove not in sync. I want to set it to something groovy as well, change that to something swung. Okay, it's sounding way too high frequency. That was great English. 100, make sure it's grooving. And lastly, some cutlery. Why is it grooving up so well? I haven't even done anything. This needs to be grooving too. I like that bit. Is it going to sound better pitched down? I'm going to add a little groove of these knife samples too, just quantizing them like we have the other elements. And lastly, for the drums, I just want a very clean, offbeat kind of sound. Like that. This hi-hat's kind of got like a fade in. I'm gonna go into the sample and then align the start marker to the, what is probably like the most transient landed bit on the sample, if that makes sense. I'm gonna fade that out and then I'm gonna fade this in. So it's not like a hi-hat that starts like perfectly at the start of the transient. I kind of want like a cross to like a shaker kind of sound. It's a little bit more natural like that. Throwing all these into a group, Command G, Control G is the shortcut. Saturator. Buckle up, saturator. That is just the right amount of brokenness onto the sound. A little bit of erosion too. This is gonna really dirty it up. Loving the new erosion, by the way. Well done, Ableton. very odd. It's very the sound, if you know what I mean. Beautiful, that is our drums sorted. All right, let's get some serum action. We're gonna create like a very simple soft bed for the entire track to just glue to. E. Make a massive long note here. E. And then another E on top of that. There we go. And this is not helping context whatsoever. We need a bandpass filter. So something like here. Around the midsection. Reverb. And we'll mute this too. Yeah, kind of. I still think actually those notes are too high. There we go, that's a bit more haunting. Octave, octave plus the fifth. Perfect. Get a bit of movement on this, little LFO action. That is way too fast. That was way too much. Is this all too high? I kind of like that. That's a bit jarring. I'm going to add another layer over the top of that for a bit of extra kick. Should reverb that. Nice. All right, switching from. We are going to need second oscillator on. Oh, that's a lot fatter. Anyway, a little detune on the second os. Bit more. Okay, too much. Go octave down. Yeah! And then, of course, the obviously essential cutoff. No, too much. Do we need more detune? Yeah, crank. And, oh. That sounds demonic. Perfect.
A few inches later.
So I'm gonna roughly sketch that in. I fucked it up at the end of that note. Oh well, there we go. Too much. Erosion would sound good on that, actually. That's an F minor, so we're in E. So if we push this down one. We take the bandpass from our pad. Feeling that? Alright, vocal time. I like that, is to use it like an intro. That needs some effects though. That would be, we need G sharp to E. Oh my god, G, F sharp, F, E. Oh yeah. I do want to add the last piece of the puzzle, which is like a string section. Just kind of, which is like a slurred kind of string. Reverb. Something like that. That was really cool though. Alright, usual treatment, erosion. A little bit too much. I'm not sold on this. That doesn't sound like it's in. We need to pitch it down, tones, and then bring that down. I feel like that detracts from the detuning. Or, I guess that's the thing about the synth, you can only detune one, so you're pitching one above. But with a synth like Serum, when you do 2 unison, you're detuning one below and above at the same time. Instead of like with the synth, you're just, it's like it should be kind of one below and one above. Let's just clip that. And lastly, I'm going to pull in some extra vocals and create some more pitched stuff. So, this is our vocal at 100. Let's add 100. Auto shift is so underrated for this stuff. I'm going to lock it to the scale of our track. And then pitch the formants down. I'm going to automate the formants like so. Drag it some more. Grab that, it's also 100. Little deviations in the format sound so sick. But the great thing is with auto shift, since we've locked it to the scale of our song, I can go ahead into the source and just pitch it down even more. Okay, I'm gonna need some EQ. Some reverb too, and maybe some delay. Three is the sweet spot for the delay. 4 doesn't really sound like dark UKG enough. So 3. I like that last note. So nice. Not finding the sweet spot. I like the last little bit, so I'm gonna chop that there. Don't like the intro. Sick! Anyways, and that is how you get that burial inspired sound inside Ableton. Basically, pull from a whole bunch of different sound sources. I use Serum, I use sample packs, I use my synth, I use my phone to record random kitchen foley, just all sorts. Get creative, add some swing to your drums. It doesn't matter if it's like grimy or rough around the edges. That is in fact part of the aesthetic even more, so yeah. And one of the sample packs I pulled from a bunch in this video is Beneath. It's my latest one, perfect for like dark UKG, 140, dark drum and bass, you know, that kind of underground UK sound. I'll leave that link in the description. But anyways, it is time to listen to this track start to finish.